basically when you are at lunch on weekends, you've got to be a bit of a smart ass, because you're still a kid. And if you manage to do, one play on words, then you've got, plus 100 points. Basically, it's sort of, it was not gamified, but there was this feeling of to show my dad that I had that, because it's something you acquire. It's not something you're born with. So that's also how I did fit in school, because I'm not really tall. I had a year and a half, basically 2 years of advance. I got my baccalaureate at 16. Wow. So I was like the small one, and usually in the top 3 or 4, and not very tall. So I could have been harassed, basically, or I could have been the teacher's pet or whatever. But I wasn't. Yeah, exactly. I could have been shat on, basically, and wasn't, because I had this sense of humor and had the friends. And this bit of left field thinking, or to the point where sometimes I used to make some jokes that were somehow going too far. That's also it's a real challenge to not go too far. To keep your sensitivity, basically. I'm trying to get rid of because humor sometimes leads to cynicism. It's easy. And the root of cynicism is dangerous, because it goes like, anyway, everything is shit, and we're all dead at the end. So I bother. But plus, I don't know what I will leave in my legacy. I have no idea. You should ask when I'm dead. It's a Wonderful Life. Frank Capra. Basically, he thinks he's a sort of a normal guy, but he's changed the whole city. But he has to die to know that. So I don't know. Good values are try to be good, but that's a bit of a cliche. I would say try to not be a negative force, which would be something already. I'm not saying positive. Would be, I'm trying to be a positive force of change. No, but no, I'm trying to to have a positive naivety. I think there's professionally is pushing people. It goes from writing something with someone and say, you present that. It could be just that, and you take charge of it, and you'll be the one facing the client, blah, 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 because I'm sort of too old for this shit. But no, actually the too old for this shit has become a sort of a mantra in the agency. We say TOFT, TUFT, too old for this shit. So no, don't ask that, because that's not us. We're too old for that. And I guess we're all, as we're quite senior and we've all made our ways, we're trying to push the others, even if at the end we're still quite hands-on. Basically, we rewrite stuff. We're a bit of a maniac in terms of PowerPoint presentations and stuff. It has to be, as any agency, I guess. But no, stress can be really negative, but sometimes it can be good. But 90% of the time, it's really not good. Relieving your pressure on others is the worst thing to do, and whether it's personally or professionally. And personally, you see it immediately. If you start shouting at your kids, and then you see your kids shouting at themselves, you say, who taught them that? Well, you did, you moron. So it's children are a real life experiment of how you behave, basically, because you see exactly how they behave, and they learned from someone, which is usually you and your significant other. The best way to not let stress take on is to, as soon as you see what you feel you've got a bit of, talk, with your colleagues and say, I'm starting to sense I've got this problem. Or I will have this problem. How do you think I should manage it? So talking, dialogue, advice, I think that's the best way. Yeah, actually, we had a lot of books at home, encyclopedias for youth, which was categorized in questions. The first one was Comment ça marche, which is how does that work? Brilliant. So it was like, well, the engine or the sun or, all this stuff around you. How does that work? It was really simply explained. The second one was, where is it? So it was sort of geography. And I read everything, and I got also a sort of knack for movies, mainly Walt Disney's, but then action movies, that sort of things. I was sort of a movie nerd, and still is less, way less. But funnily enough, the most memory I have is about, this guy played with that, and the DOP is this guy who did that. It's like totally useless information, as I don't work in movies. There's a power in being stupid, asking stupid questions. And I like that. I really like that. Naivety, being naive and stupid. It's the Be Stupid campaign from Diesel. And I think one of the most brilliant campaigns about attitude. Because when you're smart, when you know you're smart, you think you know everything, but you've got some, how you say, ready-made thoughts. Whether when you're stupid, you just question everything.
Purpose, yeah.
The purpose. Oh, fuck purpose. I wouldn't call it cynicism from my side, but I think a lot of them is bullshit, frankly. It's a thin veil, they sort of put down, let's talk about purpose. First, try to make good products in a good way without being an asshole for people, towards people or towards the environment. And then that's your purpose, basically. And your purpose is also to make profits. And then how you use your profits, then that's another question. And you should use them in the best way possible. But, okay, Patagonia. I don't think Patagonia was born with a purpose. They was born with let's do the best thing with while trying not to be an asshole to the environment. And now everyone says, oh yeah, that's the purpose company. I'm not sure they had this purpose, the word purpose, as when it was created. And everyone now is trying to say, yeah, well, what's the purpose? Jeremy Belmore wrote something that was really, no bullshit about purpose. I'm quite,
Can you share that? And I'll put it in the show notes.
I'll try to find that. Yeah.
Do you think it's a byproduct of the UN's global goals, the fact that we have these 17 sustainable development goals, and that corporations in the pursuit of profit see, given that there's an expectation of members to be mindful socially and environmentally, that it's forced both the reaction from marketing and the C-suite to then be passed on to their agencies to find a narrative.
Yes. Some of this research showed that basically at the beginning, everyone was saying, because that's what consumers want. Actually, no, because it was based on a question was like, would you rather buy from a company that is purposeful or not purposeful? And people would say, yes, of course I would. And then it turns out that it got twisted into, oh yeah, consumers want brands with purpose. But actually, consumers just want products with a right price and not being devastating for the environment somehow. But, even Philip Morris has a purpose. There is a sort of brand manifesto of Philip Morris with the purpose. You're like, come on, guys. Your purpose is what? To maintain people alive a bit longer so they can still sell some cigarettes. I understand the positive force behind, but I think it's just like greenwashing, basically. There's a purpose washing going on, and I don't really like it. I think I would start with inclusion. It's still a white male industry. We are slightly opening, but when you see, just talking about Paris, the power and the creativity the guys in the surroundings have, les quartiers, as we say, the quarters. And let's take the drug market, hashish or stuff, and how they use social media, how they use marketing, you're like, wow, these guys, they know, sometimes you say, they could open a school of marketing.
There's
they know
maybe
everything.
A startup idea there, Christian.
Yeah. I mean, if France one day legalize, let's say, weed and hashish, these guys, they've learned everything. They know everything. And I think there's a whole reservoir of talents that we should use and nurture. And we're not doing that. And instead of that, we're saying, oh yeah, that's la banlieue, that's the quarters, that's the migrants. I don't know if it's same in the UK or in Texas, but we've moved. Language, is really important. We've moved from refugees, les réfugiés, to migrants. And migrant in French is not very far from something you'd say from an insect. It's the refugee is very humane. Migrant is totally dehumanizing. The way I see it right now, and I might be totally wrong, I think it's the output is a new way to be creative, as in, because at the end you will judge if it does the thing or if it doesn't. You still need to have the human judgment on that. Is it interesting? Or sometimes, maybe with the glitches and the thing that happens, that could spark something like, oh, the machine did that. And I'm like, oh, there's something interesting there. We should carry on this. But otherwise, no, I have no idea, really no idea. I think AI could, replace most of the ads digitally, no problem. Even better, because some are really shit. At least I hope that it would be maybe better written, structured. But asking an AI to maybe to tap into universal truth or universal insight or that sort of things, maybe they will. I don't know. I actually don't see it as a threat. I see it as a new game.